Okay. I am joined by Josie Kilgore, brand president with Cobblestone Hotels, coming to us from Appleton, Wisconsin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. Why don't you tell us about Cobblestone?
Sure. So as you said, we're based in Wisconsin, Neenah Appleton area. We started in our first location 2008 in Clintonville, Wisconsin. Today we are over 160 locations open or coming soon in 27 states. So we have a couple brands within Cobblestone Hotels. We have Cobblestone Hotel / Inn and Suites, our Borders and Suites by Cobblestone, Centerstone Hotels, and Key West Hotels that we acquired a couple of years ago. So we're primarily in small markets, but we've recently, in the last couple of years, started to go into bigger markets such as like the Appleton, Neenah area, Fox Valley, population about 100,000 of the surrounding community. So, but again, primarily in populations less than 6,000 across America.
How are things? How are the hotels doing in those types of areas?
Good. Not to sugarcoat everything that's going on, but small town America is definitely still open for business. So in those little bit bigger markets, we're definitely feeling it a lot more than you'd say again in the smaller markets, just because there's of course more supply in the bigger markets. But again, they're open for business. There's of course struggles in different capacities from revenue to staffing, but fortunately, the majority of our hotels are holding their own and just pushing through with all of the things going on.
Good. Okay. So why don't you talk to us about how your sales, revenue, and marketing organization is set up, both at the corporate level and property level?
Well, corporate level, we're still a small brand, so we have a team that wears many hats, just like everybody in the industry. We're definitely a leaner team than we were before March. But as far as kind of the organization chart, again, we just wear a lot of different hats. We rely really heavily on the corporate side of our partners to help us through a lot of that. So we're kind of dabbling in a couple of different things to kind of push through. On the property level, fortunately, because we do have the smaller properties, our managers have already been wearing a lot of those hats. So nothing that they're not used to already, but it's definitely a little more trialsome because they are also running leaner staffs as far as, front desk and housekeeping. So while they're making that their primary focus, they're also still, filling all the different areas of the hotel within that. So again, fortunately, they're used to doing a lot of that stuff, but it's just kind of steering of the change of how to do it. Sales calls are very different right now than they were, both before COVID, not so many in-person ones. So they've had to get a lot more creative within that.
Right. And I would imagine, like most people that I talk to, most hoteliers I talk to, everyone it's just a heightened level of cooperation. So I would imagine that, talk to us just a little bit about how that cooperation goes, once a week meetings, what does that look like?
For us, on the corporate side, again, our team has gotten smaller, so the communication is a lot more, daily, I would say, versus weeks. So we, unlike other brands, we don't have a ton of employees where, we have certain department heads of each one. We, again, kind of all wear the same hat. So it's more of, again, just daily conversations, making sure that we're communicating with all of our remote employees, making sure everybody's on the same page. And, again, as far as property level, they're just doing based on each location of what they can do of who they have on there. And we're communicating with them, likewise, trying to host more webinars that are resourceful for them, sharing a lot of that information, just a lot more communication, which is, the upside of this is that it has definitely taught us a lot, and especially again on the communication.
Right. So small town America is still open. I love that.
Yeah.
So talk to us about some of the things that you're doing from a marketing perspective.
So interestingly enough, for marketing on the franchise side, going into 2020, we were launching a regional airport campaign of just teaming up with a lot of the regional airports in close proximity to our locations in those smaller markets. But because people aren't flying as much, we had to kind of steer away from that and get a little bit more creative. So our CEO and founder, Brian Wolverine, came up with the idea of launching a billboard campaign, which internally we chuckle a little bit because everybody's going to digital and that, especially going into 2020. But now with people not flying as much, especially to our smaller markets. We're launching this. I think we're going to have 30 to 40 billboards across the United States. Again, in close proximity to our locations to get those highway traffic or those people who feel more comfortable driving, still want to travel but feel more comfortable driving.
That'd be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, and we're still focused on the tech space too. On the back end, as we have been, being a smaller brand, we again rely on our partners pretty heavily to help us through that. So we're kind of dabbling in, more of the meta space and more of the digital stuff that hopefully within the first quarter, second quarter of 2021, we'll have some solid campaigns that we'll be rolling out.
So you mentioned your partners a couple times. You're running lean. Running a hotel takes technology. It just does. So talk to us a little bit about your tech stack. What's that look like?
Well, currently we partner with a cloud-based property management system that we've had, for several years now. But moving into 2020, before all of this, we were launching a new loyalty platform. I'm more on the back end and on the technology side of it. So we partnered and we're going to launch it in March. Fortunately, that this has given us a little bit more time to execute it a little bit better. But with this side, we'll have more marketing opportunities, again, on the email and digital side, as well as rolling out a CRM, which is definitely a new space for us. We haven't done that before. So we're really excited about that because we haven't really been the brand to collect a lot of data. But now we're going to be in figuring out, how we're going to be able to use that to support our franchisees, plus, make our guest experience more enhanced. Whenever we roll out anything within the tech or any requirements for the brand, we try to keep in mind that we have two customers. We have our franchisees and we have our guests, and we have to roll out programs, the technology or systems in place to make both of them happy. So our focus this year has really been on that new loyalty platform and CRM, and just making sure that it meets both our franchisees' needs and our guests. We're now with this, we've been in talks, and we're going to be beta testing probably about a dozen properties with the keyless locks and contactless check-in. So we'll hopefully be looking into launching that, just the beta side, in the next couple of months, and from there, evolve if it's with the right partner.
And these these technology decisions are going through you, right? I mean, you just kind of grew into this brand president role, and
yeah. Yeah. So we started out super small when we launched our first property back in 2008. There was less than 5 employees that we had. So a lot of our experience has been through, just basic learning and hands-on approaches. So, and like I keep reiterating, we rely really heavily on our technology partners to kind of, educate us, help us stay on top of it. But a lot of it has just been, making decisions based on, piloting and testing it to make sure that it works, and kind of dabbling in a couple of different things to make sure that we have the right partner.
Right. We got about 30 seconds. With that time remaining, any advice for hoteliers continuing to go through this?
I guess, within 2021, going into the March and the April, it was doom and gloom, but just keep your head up. I think that there's a lot of promising things that are going to be happening. I think that going through this has taught us a lot of things. So again, just keep your head up and keep pushing forward, and rely on your partners too. It's okay to ask for help during this time.
Keep your head up, and small town America is open business.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining me, Josie.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.